This video intended for educational purposes.
Hey guys, it's Adam aka Swimming Bird, and welcome back for another Minecraft 1.8 Snapshot. This is 14W29B, and the exciting news this week is that Minecraft just got some huge performance boosts, making the game a lot faster than it used to be. Now, before we get into that, I did want to mention, I just recently did a news video that you guys can check out, talking about Jeb's controversial decision to make skinnier player arms that are more proportional to the body. There'll be 3 pixels instead of 4, and this is an option. If you want more info on this, I'll have a link in the description to check out that news video. But we did get some new information. Jeb said that you will need to update your skin in order to use this, which is a bit confusing because if you can toggle this on and off, it means everyone will look that way to you. And if they haven't updated their skin, I wonder what it'll do. It might just clip off a pixel or something. But this is a future feature, so it likely won't get into 1.8 at this point, but we'll have more info about it when 1.9 gets closer, I'm suspecting. So, we are in the current snapshot, and the big feature, as I mentioned, the game runs a lot faster for a few reasons. I'm going to push F3 plus A, and it will reload all the chunks, and you can see they load very quickly now, much quicker than they have in the previous 1.8 snapshots, I feel. So this is due to 2 things. If you go into your video settings, you can see Use VBOs is a new option. You can toggle this on and off, and this is actually vertex buffer objects. It actually uses your video card or video device memory rather than your system memory for data so that it can render directly using your video card. Now if you have maybe a lower performance computer, this might not help you as much, but you can try it out and see, how much it improves. The big thing with this though is it tends to make the chunks load in really fast when you load in a world, but then sometimes players have been claiming that it slows it down in general, so if you want to use it when you first load in a world, it's good, and then you don't necessarily need to use it past that. But play around with it and see. They're still optimizing, obviously, but this is a big step forward to make the game load in a lot faster and not have a lot of those missing chunks and stuff that we get, having weird little x-rays into the ground and stuff like that. Now the other thing that Dinnerbone has been working on for a while is threaded chunk rendering, and this has definitely speeded up the game quite a bit as well. I'm going to go into spectator mode real quick here so I can fly around. You guys can see I can go really fast and it still loads the world in fairly well here, and some of these chunks have already loaded in, but you can see even this jungle, which usually is kind of slow to pop in because of all the leaves, pops in pretty quickly now. So yeah, I'm very happy with the way this is going. Again, they're still optimizing stuff and they're trying to get the game to run as as fast as they can. So we'll see in the next couple weeks how much more they can pull out of this thing before 1.8 comes out. Now, ore generation also is a lot faster. It's actually twice as fast or so, a little bit more than that, than it used to be. So this is all stuff that'll really help you when you're exploring. It'll make the world load in a lot faster, especially if you have a million farm animals down here just hanging out and talking. Some other cool things, if we go down here, I'm going to go into survival mode here. And a few things did not have braking animations in the past, including signs, but now you can see that's got a braking thing there. Whoa, it didn't actually break. That's weird. It's probably updating slowly. There's chests. Some of these had braking animations in the past, but they are now back, and you can see they actually do the little shattering thing. Blocks aren't really updating. Again, it's a snapshot, so it's a little glitchy. Here's a beacon. You can break that. You can do it with heads, I believe. We gotta get real close on there. There we go. You can see the heads breaking for all the different types of heads and stuff. But yeah, it's cool to see actual braking animations for a lot of these. Beds had braking animations, but only on like certain parts of them before. But now you can see it like on the bottom, on the sides, on the top. It's everywhere. So that's pretty cool. I did notice a weird little glitch in the snapshot where if you have like too tall grass and you get a head and then you like put it underneath, it'll like turn it into a peony top there, and it just kind of stays like that. It's really weird, and then the head floats a little bit. That's what happened with these. It's very strange. I don't know why it does that, but again, it's a snapshot, so there are some bugs. Now, one bug that was fixed recently is that Minecarts and TNT did not actually get pushed by water, flowing water. So I'm going to put a minecart here, and we'll push it in. You can see it actually goes with the flow of the water. It'll slowly kind of push it down there. They're not just going to sit at the bottom of a thing if there's rushing water on it. The same goes for TNT. I'm going to drop one here and light it, and then you can see it'll actually flow with the water and go down there. So this is going to change like TNT cannons and a lot of stuff. Another thing that I can't tell if this is actually intentional or not, but TNT is a lot different now in how it explodes. It doesn't explode as wide, but it explodes a lot deeper. It means TNT, if it stays like this, sorry horses, if it stays like this would be a lot better to mine with the TNT. But yeah, usually it has a wider radius as far, like, around that it goes, but instead it just seems to go deeper into the ground and dig down a few more layers, which is kind of cool. So yeah, I think that would be more helpful to keep, but we don't know if that's actually a bug or a feature that they want to have in. A couple things here that are pretty cool. We have this new query thing you can do with time, so I can see what the game time is here. If I type it into my chat, you can see it right in your chat too. So this is the game time, and then you can also do query daytime and see what the actual time of day is. So it's like 4,000, yeah, it's around morning or so, or I think it's about noon, almost there. I froze the day, so it's not going up anymore. There's another really cool thing with particles now, where they have a new force argument, which means, so I have this targeting this rabbit here, and it's going to make a bunch of explosion particles at the rabbit. And I'm going to do it now. There it goes. They're all spread out over this area. Now, typically, you have to be within 16 blocks of the particles to actually see them. But now we have this force thing that you can do. So up here, you can see I have it say force. If you have it at normal, it'll just do it normally. But we can stand way back here, and we should be able to see the particles fly off the rabbit. So this is the normal one here, and I can't see any of the particles from this far away. But if I do the force one, you should notice a few particles. Yeah, there they are around. So they can extend past that 16 block limit, and you can see them floating around. So that's kind of cool. You could do some bigger, you know, widespread particle effects on maps and stuff like that if you had those going. World border, you can now do world border get, and it will tell you where the world border is at. So it's at 60 million here. So if you want to know where the world border is, this would be very useful if you have like an expanding or closing world border. Then you can kind of check where it is and stuff like that. The debug window, when you push F3, you saw this earlier, it gives you all this info, coordinates, all this different stuff. If you don't really want any of that, you can do game rule reduce debug info, and it'll just cut it down to like your FPS and a few other things. I'd like if it had the coordinates in there, but right now it's only like chunk relative coordinates and stuff, and if you do false, you can get it back. This is also in multiplayer settings. You can turn this on and off, but the command overrides it. It's a nice little thing there. That's an additional ability if you don't like having all this stuff pop up in F3 there. Now, this one, variables, this is a little strange. Usually I can spend a while and figure out a lot of this stuff, but this one goes over my head quite a bit. So in game, you can do game rule and actually set up a new game rule. I did cool guy rules, just called it that. You can set it for true or false, and it'll show up in the game rules. But you can also do a bunch of stuff with scoreboard values and things. So to my understanding, this is basically like you can change scoreboard values with command stats, and it's kind of like similar to writing code. You can use command blocks and use these custom game rules to do integers and strings and stuff like that with stats and query results. I will link in the, if that all sounds like gibberish, I'll link in the description to a Reddit thread from user Beta the Data. He goes into this a lot more in depth. And yeah, it's basically something, if you're going to make mini games or do different things with scoreboards or maps, it can be very useful. But for most players, you probably won't need to learn how to do that. And speaking of the scoreboard, if you put it on the sidebar, it will now sort by alphabetical order of your name, which is kind of nice. Some other bug fixes that are pretty cool. Previously, if you hold a map, you probably know that you use both hands. But previously, if you were invisible, you still had to see your hands when you were holding a map. But now if you held it, it's just floating there like I'm a ghost when I'm invisible, so you don't see your hands there. There was a bug that has been around for a really long time. This is like bug 71 in the bug tracker. Mobs would not spawn next to water streams if the X and Z coordinates were negative. It's like really specific, but for whatever reason, if you set up like streams around your base and that you're in the negatives, mobs just wouldn't like spawn around there. It's kind of strange. You could be starving and not be able to sleep in a bed on peaceful, but that's been fixed. If you stand at exactly X and Z 0, you wouldn't be able to break or place blocks in the northwest. These are really weird bugs, but they're being fixed. And then zombies and skeletons weren't burning to death on slabs, but fear not, you can build slab roofs and your zombies and skeletons will not survive and keep going. So yeah, thank you guys for watching. Again, we're getting lots of optimizations to the game. They've pretty much put as many features as they want to so far in 1.8, but that doesn't mean they still can't change stuff like the rabbits and and different things. I think they're still going to try to update those and give them sounds and things like that, other new features, but mainly they're just trying to get 1.8 ready to get out to you guys, the players. Thanks for watching. Please leave a like if you enjoyed this. As always, I will update you guys as soon as there is new news on different Snapshot features, and I'll see you next time for more Minecraft Snapshot updates.